Okay, let's get right into it because a massive legal showdown is brewing that could totally reshape the music industry as we know it. We're talking about AI, we're talking about copyright, and we're talking about a legal defense so bold it might just rewrite the rules for everyone.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. Just imagine for a second, an AI generates a song that has a perfect sound-alike to something you created. It has the same vibe, the same feel, maybe even the same instrumentation. But is it a copy? Or is it something brand new? Well, the answer to that is anything but simple.
All right, so here's the deal. An AI music generator called Suno is in some serious legal hot water. A group of independent artists is taking them to court. And the claim is that Suno's entire platform is built on stolen music. Now, this isn't the first time an AI company has been sued, not by a long shot, but this one has a very different flavor. So on one side, you've got these indie artists led by a guy named Anthony Justice. They're fighting to protect their livelihoods, arguing that their art is being fed into a machine designed to replace them. And on the other side, you have Suno, a major player in the AI music space, pretty much fighting for its right to exist.
And this is where things get really interesting. See, most of these AI lawsuits are about the training data, the mountains of copyrighted material that the AI learns from. But Suno is pulling a brilliant move. They're basically saying, hey, let's not get hung up on how the sausage is made. Let's talk about the sausage itself, the final product.
This leads us straight into their big, bold strategy. They're calling it the no samples defense. And it all hinges on a really specific, kind of technical, but incredibly powerful piece of US copyright law.
Okay, so to really get what Suno is arguing, you have to understand something called sound recording copyright. This isn't about the notes on the page or the lyrics. This law protects the actual specific sound waves that were captured in a recording. Think of it like a sonic fingerprint for a song. It's totally unique to that one recording. And this is the core of their argument, right? From their own legal filing. They're saying, look, our AI isn't a DJ. It doesn't take little bits and pieces of existing songs and stitch them together. It generates every single sound wave from the ground up. It's all new.
So you have these two totally different ways of looking at it. The artists see this as a kind of high-tech collage, right? Taking their work and rearranging it. But Suno is painting a completely different picture. They say their AI is more like a human musician who listens to tons of jazz, internalizes the style, and then improvises a brand new solo. It's a new performance, not a copy.
Okay, so that's Suno's defense, and it's a strong one. But what about the artists? What's their side of the coin? Well, their case isn't just based on a gut feeling. It's built on a major government report and the very real fear that this tech could make them obsolete. They're pointing to this report from the US Copyright Office that dropped in May of 2025, and this report raises some serious red flags. It questions whether training AI on copyrighted material is really fair use, and it sounds the alarm about AI creating what it calls substitutional outputs, songs that are so similar they could literally replace the human-made originals on Spotify or Apple Music.
And this is the exact quote that's probably highlighted in every legal document the artists have filed. The Copyright Office is essentially saying that fair use might not apply if the AI is just going to spit out a product that puts the original creators out of a job. For an artist, I mean, that's the ultimate nightmare scenario.
Now, it's really important to zoom out for a second and see that this lawsuit isn't happening in a vacuum. It's just one front in a much, much larger legal war being waged over the future of generative AI in music.
You can really see how things have escalated over the last year or so. The major labels kicked things off back in June 2024, suing Suno over its training data. Then came that critical report from the Copyright Office. Right after that, the indie artists filed this lawsuit, and most recently we got Suno's no samples defense. It's been one bombshell after another.
And this is what makes the indie artists' lawsuit so clever and so different. While the major labels are fighting a battle over the AI's training data and fair use, the indie artists are attacking from a completely different angle. They're going after the outputs, the songs themselves, using that very specific sound recording copyright law. It means Suno has to fight a war on two fronts.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a major complication for the artists. When it comes to that training data argument, the legal winds have recently started to blow in favor of the AI companies.
Specifically, in 2025, we saw two major cases, one against Anthropic and another against Meta, where federal judges ruled that, yeah, training an AI on copyrighted material
is protected fair use. Those decisions are like rocket fuel for Suno's legal team, and they really complicate things for anyone arguing against AI training.
So where does all this leave us? I mean, this isn't just about one company or one group of artists. This legal showdown is really about defining the rules for the future of creativity itself. It's a huge deal.
It all boils down to this one incredibly tricky question. If an AI creates a song that only sounds like an existing track, but doesn't actually contain a single bit of its original audio, has the law been broken? Is sounding like something the same as copying something? That is the multi-billion-dollar question the courts have to answer.
And that really leaves us with this final kind of profound thought. We teach human artists by having them listen to, study, and imitate the greats. That's how art has evolved for centuries. So if an AI learns in a fundamentally similar way to create something new, should its art be judged by a completely different, harsher set of rules? The answer to that is going to define the next generation of music.